if you're still having trouble finding your passion, there is many resources out there. You could start with the passion test, the effortless path to discovering your life purpose by Janet Atwood and Chris Atwood, which a lot of people have taken. Actually, when I was in Madrid last time, I found this girl that she recommended to read this, and she actually conducted a passion test with me, where basically you list the things that you really enjoy doing. List, and it always starts saying, "When my life is ideal, I am doing something." And so picture how when your life would be ideal, what would you be doing? What would be the 20 things that your ideal self would be doing? And then the passion test helps you to narrow those to the top five, and then finding a specific, like painting really specific pictures or scenes of what would that situation look like. So, for example, I have here in my wall five things, right? So the first one would be the first thing. My life would be ideal when I'm surrounded by amazing people who love me. And then I have when I'm always learning and sharing my knowledge, what I'm doing right now. And also I have to learn a lot in order to be able to share my knowledge. The third one, creating things that make many people's life better. Fourth, reaching my full potential, and fifth, being fit, healthy, and at peace with my body and mind. So you list those things, and then it's important to be concrete. Okay, so how does it actually look? So and you're supposed to dream as big as you want to, because the whole idea, this is an exercise in thinking big, not limiting yourself. Shoot for the moon, because you only have this one chance in life to shoot for the moon, so you might as well shoot for it, right? And then do all you can to make that happen, and at least you have some idea in which direction to go. So, and I'm just gonna pull this off from the wall because it's easier to read. But I'm just gonna give you a couple examples. And the girl that did this for me, she thought it was fun, because people really limit themselves when they're actually coming up with specific scenes where they paint themselves being very successful. So I said, okay, I'm gonna think big. So on my first goal, where my life is ideal, I say being surrounded by amazing people who love me, and I'm at Necker Island with Richard Branson, and we're inside his mansion. And Richard says to a group of future leaders, "You have to talk to Miguel. He changed my life. Before I met him, I was really successful, but there was something missing there. And after talking to Miguel, he really helped me and gave me an amazing insight." So this is a very specific scene. So you're supposed to think like a movie type of scene. Like if you were to direct this movie and paint a picture of your ideal self in the future, what characters would be in that movie, what situation, who would you be talking to, what you would be saying, right? For example, this is my birthday and Elon Musk calls me and sings me happy birthday. Or I'm singing "We Are the Champions" while orbiting the Earth at zero gravity with three really close friends. Or I receive a thank you letter from a fan who decided to change his or her life around after watching one of my videos. That could be and that would be, I would be extremely happy if that happened. Always learning and sharing my knowledge. A specific case of that happening. It is December 31st, just before going to my New Year's dinner, and I read the last page of a book that was recommended to me by my dad. It's my 20th book that I have read this year. Well, 20 books a year is not bad, but this is like a very specific indication that I've been learning that year. I look at my list and I realize that I can cross out 5 courses that I have published this year. Well, this will be one of them. I'm looking at Udemy, and my Udemy profile, I can see that my student count is at 100,000. Man, I really would hope that there is people on Udemy that have over 100,000 students. It could be on Udemy, it could be somewhere else, right? But what I'm trying to say is, when you're coming up with these things, you're really forced to think in very specific terms. And it's okay to change this. I mean, these are very far-fetched ideas, but the whole idea is the whole exercise in itself, when you sit down with somebody that helps you guide you through this process, is actually very interesting, because we really never sit down and think in these very concrete terms. And the whole idea of the passion test is that after you take it, after you do it, it can shed some light in which direction to move forward, which is very important. Where am I going, right? on regarding the passion test, which I'm very passionate about. One of my passions is finding my passion. I wrote an article, a very long article, which is called "Five Steps That Will Help You Discover Your True Passion." And basically, I go through those 5 steps that through my I've applied through my life to help me find not just one passion but several passions. Because one of the things that also I find that maybe misleading is that people focus on like, what is that my one single passion, what is my single purpose, and I'm like, what if there are more than one, what if there is more than one thing that you really like to do? And the other thing is, what if what I like to do now 10 years from now I get bored of it, or I change and I say, you know what? So a part of this article says passions fade, and it's a good thing that they fade. Why? Because that means that we're evolving, that maybe something that we were passionate about, now we change and we evolve into, well, maybe this is the direction that I should take, right? But you should be asking yourself questions all the time, right? And what you find passionate today may change tomorrow, and it's absolutely fine if it happens. Don't just think that I need to find out that one thing that I have to be really good at, that I will keep me busy and happy for the next 40 years, because that's a little bit delusional. It may not happen. What may happen is that you find a lot of interesting things. Now, it is important that you focus on at least one or two, not too many, because if you want to be able to build a strong brand, or have a clear direction in your life, you cannot pull yourself into too many directions, right? But I think once you reach certain success in one area, who says that you couldn't change and do something else? Look at people like the founder of Twitter, who is the CEO of two very successful startups, Twitter and Square. Well, his passion obviously is building companies and complex technology products, and he's been able to do that in two different companies. It's extremely hard, but it is possible. You have people like Elon Musk, who has created four multi-billion-dollar companies. He started PayPal, and now he's running two multi-billion companies, SpaceX and Tesla, and his cousins are running SolarCity, another billion-dollar company. Of course, these are outliers, but if there's people that actually can make it happen, that at that scale, at least the average human being should be able to do it, even if it's something 1,000 times smaller. It's still pretty big if they think big enough, if they really ask themselves these questions: what's important for them, what's important for the world, and what they can become really good at by working really hard, thinking strategically, and obviously asking for help, and finding the great mentors. Also, we did a little fun video, because this is what we do at Grumo Media, based on an article by Oliver Emberton, who is an entrepreneur who really likes to blog, and I think he's so good at blogging that and very popular on Quora.com, that inspired us at Grumo Media to create a little animation based on our article, which is basically the title of the question is how to find your passion. And if you type that how to find your passion and Grumo Media on Google, you'll be able to find that video. Anyway, so there's here three small resources that may point you into the direction of finding your true passion, because you really need to know this before you take the next step. At least have a little bit of an idea. I would argue that you should take the next step whether you have found your passion or not, because what you cannot do is just wait until you find your passion before you do something. Maybe it takes you 20 years to find it, hopefully not, and you haven't done anything. That doesn't make any sense. One of the things that Oliver Emberton said is that the moment you start doing things, the faster you'll find out what you like to do or not, right? So try several things, and this is another thing I say on my article. One of the things that you can do is try several things, not just one. So like, let's try this, let's try to maybe write blogs, maybe paint, maybe do a podcast. Things that do not take a lot of time to try, but you do them well enough to get a real sense of whether you enjoy it or not. And after you've tried, let's say 5-10 things, I'm sure you'll start to develop a criteria, a taste for what you really enjoy doing, and maybe that points you into what direction you should start following. So definitely don't really just wait to find it. Do something, and what's gonna happen probably is that once you start doing things, you find what your passion is, what your purpose is. So here's to you finding something awesome to do that you really enjoy for the long term. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you want to see more like this, just subscribe here. If you want a free gift, click here. Yeah. Which one is going to be the one you click?